It is Saturday. It's February the 2nd, 2019. My email address is Rick, R-I-C-K, 0327 at me.com. That is for you to communicate with me, to find out how you can uh, get my paperwork by gift. Okay. A lot of paperwork. It's important for you to respond to these people because uh, if they have you on their list, oh boy, you're in for a battle. Oh, you're in for a battle. It's really bad. I mean, I see them sending you in the mail a notice for child support is probably to almost the same as back in the 60s when young men were coming home after they graduated high school and finding out that they're drafted. I mean, really. I mean, it's that serious. I mean, I don't want to make lightly to my veteran friends out there. Obviously, being drafted to go fight in Vietnam is more serious, obviously, because you could die. But my point is that it's not far off because you're like going to Vietnam and possibly dying, and then everything else changes your life, right? Child support changes your life too. Okay, myself, I'm an example of it. It's changed my life, and not for the good. Okay, and that's I uh, I look back. I'd wished back, 9 years ago, when my daughter decided that she was going to go to the college that she wanted to go. It didn't matter what I had to say. I wish I had just gave her mother the child support and paid instead of, going by the agreement that I had. Uh, it wound up being a horrible decision because it sent my ex-wife down to family court, filing a petition, and that was it. Because she had her ear to the ground. She women, they all talk about child support. They all know, women who are getting divorced. They all know about, especially in New York. They know about family court. Um, they know to run the family court, and I'm sure she did because she was threatening me for like 3 or 4 years anyway before it happened. So it was like I had gotten lucky. And what happened was I was right because I had an agreement. And see, when the agreement benefited her, it was fine. And Rick here would go by the agreement. And then when the agreement was benefiting me, she didn't honor it. And she ran the court, and the rest is history. And here I am with 10,000 subscribers making videos and uh, you know, homeless at one time, my wife and I. I mean, only because we moved. We made some rash decisions because we were not financially, mentally. We were devastated. We lost our home, and we thought we had an opportunity to move to Florida. Pay rent down in Florida is really cheap. So for like $1,400, we got like a 3-bedroom townhouse. But the downside was we were living in Florida and we're from New York and we had no family down there. And it was a big, change. And then the child support people were really hammering me, especially since, they knew I was down in Florida, so I couldn't fight them, because I was down there. And, we lived down there for 3 months and came back to New York without an apartment. And what happened, we weren't prepared for trying to find an apartment. We had the money to find an apartment, but we weren't prepared that our credit was destroyed by the child support animals. So it was really, really, really bad time. This is in 2014, and I look back at it. I probably suffered some type of a nervous breakdown. I was in really bad shape. I didn't like leaving my home. Um, I was deathly afraid of getting on the phone with anybody, any type of you know possible confrontation, like with the credit card company pulled a fast one. It was just like coming from all sides. I was being, the credit card company. You make a payment of $4,000 to fix your credit, and then the credit card company lowers your limit 4,000, so it doesn't benefit you. I was like, what the hell is this all about? So I had an 8,000 credit limit. I make a $4,000 payment, giving me $4,000 cushion, and then they lower my credit limit down to 4,000. I have nothing. It was like, what the hell is this all about? And it was just like, wow, everything was coming at me. So it was just like devastating. And uh, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to try and show you guys that here's other ways that it don't take lightly getting notified in the mail that you have to go to court, or their version of court. There are people out there who have found out the hard way, driving down the road. They get pulled over. The police runs them, and next thing you know, they're in handcuffs. They're, unbeknownst to them, they owe thousands in child support because they didn't show up, or they were unaware that something was mailed to them, and they don't care, these people. They just mail it in the mail, and they'll claim, oh, one guy one guy says, hey Rick, the guy told me that they claimed that a blonde-haired woman accepted the mail. He's like, there's no blonde-haired woman living in this house. So in other words, these people are so dirty, they'll claim that they observed a blonde-haired woman accept the paperwork to appear in court, and as far as they were concerned, he was served. And then he never went to fake court, and his life was destroyed. So what you're going to have to do is you have to respond a certain way. Again, let's go and look what happens. So you come home, you're notified you got to go to court. This is what they do to you. Child support agency, they send you notice to your address and warns you that if you do not appear, you may be arrested. All right, there's first threat. Child support agency sends notice to your address and warns you that if you do not appear, you may have your driver's license suspended. There's threat number 2. Child support agency sends notice to your address and warns that if you do not appear, you will. I'm not quite sure if it's may or will be. You will be in default, but that's threat number 3. Okay. And here's the thing. You probably legally you're not in default because you did not agree to any loan, you didn't accept, sign a promissory note, because that's what this is all about. This is, on paper, they use all contractual terms. I mean, I talk about it all the time. You're called an obligor, you're called a payor, you're called a debtor, and those are all contractual terms. And you cannot be a payor, you cannot be a debtor, and you cannot be an obligor unless you've signed a promissory note or some type of an agreement. But according to them, you are the father of a child, so therefore you have a debt obligation to support that child. But that's not the same thing as being an obligor, debtor, payor. Because again, they use, under 42 U.S.C. 666, subsection H, it says default is and the definition of default is um, failure to make payments for a promissory note, something like that. That's when I found the promissory note reference. Okay, so here's the thing: you don't show up, you are in default, whether legally you are or not. Okay, so what happens is they'll start notifying everybody. They'll notify DMV. They'll send out an income withholding, and they'll notify your employer. They'll notify if they have your social security number. Let's say you're the mother of the child, and if again, most of the times it's the mother. Let's say the custodial parent has your social security number. They're going to give it over. Next thing you know, they could track you anyway. That's the mark of the beast. By the way, the mark of the beast is the social security number. Any people out there who you know want to make any biblical references, okay? And the mark of the beast is social security number, and it's not a coincidence that the code is 666. Okay, 42 USC 666 is the mark of the beast because it's the Social Security Act that they claim gives them the jurisdiction to cause you to pay child support. Okay. All right. So, is it worth the risk to ignore them? Well, I just went down the list before where, you know, people driving along, you get pulled over. Okay, you could be arrested. That's one way of finding out. Another way of finding out, I told you, is your credit's destroyed, your driver's license is suspended, your bank account is frozen, all because you did not respond. Um, Me personally, I wouldn't risk getting it in the mail and then sending it back. I just they're just too damn crooked. These people, they're just and later in the video I'll show you these child support people. They are the classic bullies and have absolutely, they don't follow any laws. They have no honor. It's really a really tough situation. Okay. All right. So can you risk not responding and send back envelope if it was not open? I don't know. Again, there there are other channels out there that advocate that, and they're not wrong. I mean, listen, they're not wrong. I've seen too many people that say, Rick, I did that. They didn't, I sent it back an unopened envelope, and they still held you in default. They don't honor the law. Okay, a very good chance child support will still hold you in default, and then begin the process of child support enforcement. That's what I just said. Many people have ignored child support, not appear in court, and find out down the road by mail, or worse, being arrested, that you owe thousands in arrears, and then driver's license is suspended, bank account frozen, employer. All right, we went down that already. I did it before. It's not, to me. It's just not worth it. I'm confident that by sending in my paperwork, and again, I've had people do that, and case case would be dismissed. People would withdraw the case because filing the paperwork before going to court, or their version of court, is the best way to go, in my opinion. Okay. All right. So how do you cover yourself? You send the child support agency a cease and desist. Um, Hang in there, guys. It'll open while I'm speaking to you guys. Cease and desist. Send the child support agency. You demand to view and copy records, proof of debt. Um, all right, hold on. It's coming. It's coming. And what happens is, here we go. So, a couple of videos ago, I made reference to, showing you guys this, saying that this here alone, in my opinion, this is worth what I'm asking. This one affidavit all by itself. And everything else, trust me, I got a lot of really good affidavits. Again, I promise you that you're getting the better end of the deal, okay? But this alone, I can get what I'm asking, because this here covers everything, all right? And I'm going to give you an example in a little while, because this is a fairly new and updated version of my cease and desist, and one of my people sent it out and got a response quickly, and a slick maneuver by the attorney for the child support agency by the phone. Okay, and what I'm going to recommend to you guys is that if the phone rings and you know it's the child support agency, I would not answer the phone. Let it go to voicemail. And I don't know about you guys. If somebody calls me on the phone and I don't know the number, I don't answer it. It's not a good idea. I never answer any number I don't recognize. I don't answer. Okay, it's just not worth it. You don't know who else calling you these days. All right. But anyway, this cease and desist, what we're doing is we're showing them that all the reasons why they must stop, and they have to provide you guys with proof of debt to give you that opportunity to view and record the debt. Okay. Here's the thing: when they respond, that's also another thing. Why they were slick when they called my one of my guys, Mark from California. You want a response in writing. So when we send the cease and desist, you expect a response in writing. We want a response in writing, because it's hard to go to court with a reference to a phone conversation that may or may not have happened. You understand? So that's why they were slick, the attorney for the child support agency. So the child support agency attorney can claim that he responded to the cease and desist, because the cease and desist has a notice in it that if you don't respond in a certain time frame, you're defaulting. Like, you could be taken to court. So they responded by phone and gave all kinds of BS reasons why they don't have to. Okay, this law and this county and this code, which is all bullshit, because everything is based off of 42 USC section 651 through 669, the state child support procedures for them to receive Title 4D must be in accordance with, again, 42 USC 651 through 669. Okay? And again, what have we discussed about those codes? Which is really what 651 through 669, what that is the Social Security Act. Okay, somebody just recently sent me a copy of an income withholding order, and on the income withholding order, it references the Social Security Act 466, which is really 466 is amended to 466 is really 666. Okay, 42 USC 651 through 669 is the Social Security Act. Okay, they amended it to under 42 USC for the under 42 USC is the welfare and health, whatever. Okay, so but they reference that 466 B7, which is really 666 B7. And remember, we discussed and proved that the definition of state is District of Columbia, blah, blah, blah. Remember? So therefore, all their codes that this clown was referencing is baseless, because they're not a Title 4D agency. A Title 4D agency is an agency that's within District of Columbia, Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa. Okay, that's a 4D agency. If you're outside of those areas, you're not a 4D agency. You're a pretender, and everything else is void. Okay. So, getting back to this, here's in red. You're gonna on the 31 USC 30. See, here's another thing that they're slick with, and I'll show you. I got the emails to show you guys. I'm just going through the slides first. Is that this is not an option. Okay, this is a must. They must provide you an opportunity to inspect and copy the records of the agency related to the claim. It's not, we're not, like, I think it was the last video before where there was a response I referenced and they were like, the information you requested. No, this is not a request. This is a demand. We're not requesting, you to do anything. We're demanding. You're not requesting that we pay child support, are you? No, you're demanding, and you're going to destroy our lives if we don't. Okay? That's not a request. All right? So under 31 USC 3716, they must provide you an opportunity to inspect and copy the records of the agency related to the claim. Okay? Again, if you're termed a payor, debtor, obligor, what they did is they changed your status from a human being to a fictitious, payor, debtor, obligor. And they have no rights, but a man does, a woman does. Okay, so, we have to rebut these things. All right. All right. Here's the thing I've referenced over the last couple of years, that there really is no silver bullet, because again, we're dealing with people that do not honor the law. I mean, if that was the case, a lot of people wouldn't be paying child support. Okay, it's a presumptive based system. Okay, it's not positive law. Okay, it's just they say you owe, and then you have to rebut that you don't owe. You have to rebut that you're not a person. You have to rebut that. Okay, you have to rebut the that you don't live in the District of Columbia. All right, there's a lot of things you have to rebut. Okay, so again, this is what we need. By sending that, you're getting evidence. So we want a response in writing, so we have evidence before we go to court. We have to take them to court. That's really what's going to have to happen, and this is what you need to do. So these are the courts: county court, the appellate court, and appeals court, based upon the evidence or lack of evidence from a child support agency. So you have several options. Okay, you can you got a notice for an injunction to get the child support agency to stop. Okay, so what do? You're going to go to court and say, sir, ma'am, your honor, okay, I sent in a cease and desist asking for all of these things, and they did not respond. And this law here, this code, United States Code, says I must have an opportunity to inspect and copy the records. This is not, okay, there's nothing here that's ambiguous, okay? They have to. So where is it? They refuse to provide the. Then I also showed them evidence that they are not within the geographical location of a state. Okay, there's a lot of things we got here. Okay, so you have this on your side for an injunction. Okay, you could do a writ of certiorari, which is judicial review, writ of mandamus, writ of prohibition. To judicially review, that's what I just said. That's what certiorari is: judicial review. Mandamus is to compel, and prohibition is to prohibit. Um, the child support proceedings really are administrative, and mandamus is to compel. Okay, so that's something to look into. Writ of habeas corpus is, to me, it is the remedy, the ultimate remedy, but we're having a very difficult time getting this done. There are a lot of gatekeepers. Okay, the gatekeepers are the clerks. Somebody made me aware, and this makes sense, by the way. Uh, Process servers. All right, process servers are the. I forgive the noise in the background. People upstairs are always vacuuming, at least once a day. Um, these process servers, you can get a process server to file your paperwork. So let's say you live in New York and you have a case in California, you can have a process server file the paperwork for you and pay them money, obviously. But many of them won't do that. Many of them won't, like file an order to show cause. Order to show cause is really difficult to get done. Oh, an order to show cause is basically a court procedural writ of habeas corpus. That's really what that is. Okay, that's really all that is. Show cause. Writ of habeas corpus is to show legal cause, a lawful cause, why my liberty is being restrained by a child support order that was created in violation of due process. So think about, I showed you guys the case law, Virginia versus Rivas, which is an 1880 case that says any order quorum non judice, which is by a person, not a judge, a surrogate judge, is absolutely void. So how is a judge gonna talk their way around that? How are they gonna trick their way? You know how they do it? By not letting you get in front of them. Understand? So what they do is, and many of you know this, you bring the paperwork to be filed, and the clerk walks away with your paperwork, and what they're doing is they're walking that paperwork up to that judge, and then they're reading it, and then they tell them, no, I don't accept this. I mean, is that horrible? And these process servers will do the same thing. They're like, no, I don't, I don't file writ habeas corpus. Sorry, they won't accept it, blah, 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 from what I understand. Okay. But, these are things that you're going to have to do. You got to try. You're going to have to try. All right. So I just want to show you that the response from the child support agency is evidence for you. Okay. Now I'm going to show you that. Okay. So Mark in California submitted the cease and desist I just showed you. All right, Rick, update. I got a call tonight from the head attorney. All right, this is the head attorney, San Mateo Child Support Services. He caught me a little off guard, as I was not thinking he'd call me. He called directly. He told me the call was in response to my letter. I am not getting I'm sorry, this got cut off. I am not getting the opportunity to inspect and copy any record related. See, this piece of shit is claiming that, well, I have a court order. Well, the court order, I'm not asking you for the court order. The court order was supposedly created based upon the proof of the debt. So at some time in the past, the child support agency was supposed to present to a judge evidence that you owe a debt. So how the hell else would somebody, a judge or a fake judge, order you to pay a debt unless at some time in the past a debt was presented to them that you agreed to pay? You understand? So that's what they do. They fall back on the old, well, we have a valid court order. Well, it's not valid if there's no evidence in it, and you have to show me the evidence that you submitted. But it doesn't matter. We don't. That's not considered evidence. Where's the evidence of the debt? Where's the agreement? Okay, so that they're pulling little maneuvers like that. Okay, and he's claiming he has the full authority on the legislature, state codes, without citing him, by the way. He just says so. From what I understand, they will in 30 days have all the. And here's all right. So you get a chance to read all this stuff. This is just him going on and on. All right. So I'm going to show you um, other responses. So he's going back and forth with the so, the people that work in the child support agency, and this is one of the responses. You don't really have to read that; it's not important. All right, it's just him going back at them. Right here. Here, hi Mark. I want to follow up regarding the Title 40 letter sent out. Blah blah blah. And here, all they do is just she's ignoring him demanding to see the records, and she's just going on saying you still owe us. So they put the onus on him that he has to show proof. When it's them, they have to show the proof. Okay, and this is when they're going on about the arrears despite my letter. She's just ignoring him, and that's why I told him he's got to file an injunction. Okay, this is how they are. This is the county of San Mateo. If you wish to dispute the amount of arrears, please listen to this. This is a classic. Please provide support documentation. So in other words, she's like, if you want us to show you the arrears, you have to show us canceled checks first. Like it's a deal. Like, let's make a deal. No, you don't. I don't have to show you anything. You're the one claiming I owe a debt. Why do I have to prove to you I've been making payments? You see what they do? So this is me proving to you that they have no honor. Okay, but think about that he got a response from a head attorney. Now he's got evidence though. This is all evidence. These emails and everything. Okay. All right, these are all the affidavits just from the child support agency I created. Some of them are some of them are redundant. You don't have to use all of them. I leave them there. A lot of them are there. You can just to read. A lot of good information in there. Um, I cover my P's and Q's. Everything. I prove everything. Before I make these videos, I got to cover my butt. I got people that watch my videos. They're looking for any opportunity to say I'm an ignoramus, like that jerk off in the jerk off troll. All right, all right, guys. So again, it's 32 minutes. If anybody's interested, my email is rick0327@me.com. A response from a head attorney is proof that my paperwork has some bite to it, and you will get a response. Okay, a lot of paperwork out there, you don't get any responses at all, and it's pretty hard to go into court demanding things without any evidence. Okay, if you have evidence that you demanded them to provide you this and that, and they didn't give it to you, you're going to give a judge the opportunity to order them to give it to you. Okay. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Again, my email is rick, RICK 0327. All right. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.